200 pairs. You could tell someone what each one is worth without checking your phone. You haven't worn most of them. Some are worth more than your car. And all of this started because you genuinely wanted a pair of shoes. Level 1. The Hypebeast. You're 16. You don't have money. What you have is a dial-up speed home internet connection and an obsession that makes no sense to your parents. It starts with a pair of Jordan 11 breads you see on a kid at school. Patent leather, black and red, the ones MJ wore in the '96 playoffs. You don't know anything about leather quality or Nike's release calendar yet. You just know those shoes made you feel something, and that feeling hasn't gone away in 3 weeks. Your mom won't spend $180 on sneakers, so you save. Lunch money, birthday cash, mowing lawns. 8 weeks of slow accumulation until you're standing in a line outside Foot Locker at 4 a.m. on a Saturday in December. 40 people deep, folding chair, sleeping bag, hands numb from the cold. The store opens at 8. You get your pair. You hold the box against your chest on the bus ride home like it's something alive. Those breads arrive home smelling like factory glue and possibility. You wear them to school on Monday. 3 people notice. That's enough. Within 6 months, you know every silhouette. Jordan 11, Foamposite, Kobe 7, LeBron 9, Air Max 90. You're on Nike Talk forums every night, watching YouTube unboxings, studying colorway histories. You know what dead stock means, what a brick is, what copping means. You are, whether you realize it or not, a hype beast. Someone who wants whatever's hot because it's hot. No shame in it. Everyone starts here. The question is whether you stay. Level 2. The Flipper. 18. Nike just dropped the Air Yeezy 2 Red October. Kanye's last shoe with Nike before he went to Adidas. Retail was $245. They sold out in 11 minutes online. You didn't get a pair, but your friend Brandon did. 2 pairs. He lined up at 2 different stores. He sold the extra on eBay for $2,500 before dinner. On his phone. In his car. $2,500 for standing in a line. Something clicks in your brain that can never unclick. You start entering every in-store raffle, every online countdown on NikeStore.com and FootLocker.com. Your success rate is maybe 1 in 10, but when you hit, you list immediately on eBay. The process is simple. Buy at retail, take photos of the shoe and receipt, list it, buy it now, ship it priority mail with signature confirmation. eBay plus PayPal takes about 13% in fees. Your first flip, a pair of Air Jordan 6 Infrared. Retail $185. Sold for $260. After fees and shipping, you pocket $33 profit. Not life-changing, but you're 18 and you just made $33 for doing basically nothing productive. And the dopamine hit is identical to the one you got wearing those breads. Except this time, it comes with a PayPal notification. By 19, you flipped maybe 30 pairs. Total profit, about $1,800. You're not rich, but you're hooked on a game that feels like free money, which means you haven't figured out yet that it isn't. Level 3. The Cook. Manual entries aren't cutting it anymore. You're 20, entering every draw by hand, and the success rate on hyped drops is less than 5% if you're using your thumbs like everyone else. So, you join a cook group. A cook group is basically a Discord server. Discord just launched last year, and the sneaker community jumped on it fast, where people pay a monthly fee. Yours is $50. In exchange, you get early links, stock numbers, restock monitors, and step-by-step guides on how to set up bots. A bot is software that enters draws and checkouts for you, hundreds of times simultaneously, faster than any human can tap. Think of it like hiring 200 people to stand in line for you at the same time. Your setup costs more than you expected. The bot itself, $300, plus a $50 per month renewal. Residential proxies to hide your IP, $80 per month. Server rental to run it all without lag, $40 per month. You're spending $220 a month before you've bought a single shoe. This is also the year StockX launches, a stock market style platform for sneakers where every pair gets authenticated before it ships to the buyer. No more eBay scams, no more arguing about condition. Just a bid, an ask, and a transaction fee. You move all your sales there. First month on bots. You cook, that's the word, you cooked a pair, 12 pairs of Yeezy 350 V2 Belugas on the Adidas restock. Average profit per pair after StockX fees, $85. That's $1,020 minus your $220 overhead. Net profit, $800 in a month, at 20. While going to community college part-time. Second month, Adidas updates their bot protection. Your checkout success rate drops to 2%. You cook 3 pairs total. Profit doesn't cover your overhead. You lose $80. Welcome to the arms race. The brands build a wall, the bots find a crack, they patch the crack, the bots find a new one. Every month is different. Every month the rules change. By 21, your monthly income swings between negative $200 and positive $1,500. There's no consistency. There's no salary. There's just the Discord notifications at 3 a.m. telling you a shock drop is happening in 9 minutes, and if you don't wake up right now, you'll miss it. Level 4, the plug. 22. You're done relying on bots and luck. You need a connect. A plug in the sneaker world is someone with access to product before or outside of normal retail channels. This could be a store employee who sets aside pairs before they hit the floor, a Nike corporate employee who gets a friends and family discount, a warehouse worker who knows which shipments contain what. The gray area between networking and corruption is exactly one text message wide. You find yours through the Cook Group, a guy who works at a Foot Locker in New Jersey. He can hold up to 4 pairs per drop if you pay him $50 per pair on top of retail. That's $50 you'll make back and then some on resale, but it's also technically against his employer's policy, and if he gets caught, he's fired. You don't think about that part much. By 23, you have 3 plugs across 2 states. Your inventory isn't dependent on bots anymore. You're getting 8 to 12 guaranteed pairs per month at retail, flipping them same day on StockX for an average profit of $100 to $150 each. That's $800 to $1,800 a month, consistent, predictable. You drop out of community college because the math doesn't make sense anymore. You're making more than your professors. The Off-White x Nike The 10 collection drops in 2017 and changes everything. Virgil Abloh deconstructs 10 Nike silhouettes, and suddenly a pair of Off-White Prestos is worth $900 over retail. You get 2 pairs through your plugs. You keep one. You sell one for $1,200 profit. That's the most you've ever made on a single pair. You realize the ceiling on this game is a lot higher than you thought. Level 5, the Consigner. You open a consignment shop, not a store where you buy and sell, a store where other people bring their shoes and you sell them for a 20% commission. The difference matters. You don't need $200,000 in inventory. You need a lease, a display wall, and a reputation. You're 25. It's 2021. The sneaker resale market is on fire post-pandemic, and everyone with a pair of Dunks thinks they're a day trader. Your space is 900 square feet in a strip mall in Houston. Rent, $4,200 a month. Build out, $30,000. Display shelves, lighting, security cameras, a point of sale system, and an authentication station with a UV light and a magnifying loop. You've seen enough fakes by now to spot them in under 30 seconds. The stitching on the tongue, the texture of the midsole paint, the spacing on the size tag. The things you can't Google, you just have to have held the real one enough times. Your first month, you take in 140 pairs on consignment and sell 47. At an average sale price of $280, your 20% cut is $56 per pair. That's $2,632 in revenue, minus rent, minus utilities, minus your one part-time employee. You break even, barely. But you're building something bots can't replicate, a physical space where sneakerheads come to hang out, not just buy. On Saturdays, your shop is a barbershop without the haircuts. Guys sitting around talking about upcoming releases, comparing pickups, arguing about whether New Balance 990s are actually cool or just dad shoes. You sell more on the days you're physically there because people trust a face more than an app. By 27, you're clearing $9,000 a month in commission after expenses. You've expanded to 1,400 square feet. You have 3 employees. You did a pop-up at SneakerCon and moved $40,000 in product in 2 days. Your Instagram has 28,000 followers. Local rappers tag your store in their stories. You are, by any reasonable measure, successful. And then a guy walks in with a pair of Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 lows. Dead stock. Box perfect. He wants $1,800 consignment. You check them. Stitching, tongue tag, midsole texture. Everything looks right. You put them on the shelf. They sell in 3 days for $1,900. You pocket $380. 2 weeks later, the buyer messages you on Instagram. He took them to a second authenticator. They're fake. The heel foam is wrong. A detail so small, you need to squeeze it between your fingers to notice. You refund him $1,900 out of your own pocket. The consigner who brought them in has blocked your number. You just lost $1,520 and 3 months of trust built with that customer. You buy a $400 blacklight setup the next day. You never miss that detail again. But the lesson costs more than the equipment. In this business, your reputation is the only thing that can't be restocked. That same year, Bloomberg runs a story about a kid named Joe Hebert, West Coast Joe, whose mom happens to be Nike's vice president for North America. He's been using her corporate Amex to buy over $100,000 in sneakers and flip them through his company. She resigns within weeks. No charges, just a resignation and a headline. You read it and feel 2 things at once: disgust that someone had that kind of access, and relief that you built your thing without a VP's credit card. You haven't worn a new pair of shoes for yourself in 8 months. Level 6, the Curator. You stop thinking about shoes as product and start thinking about them as taste. The shift happens when a local streetwear brand asks if you'll co-design a colorway for their next collaboration with New Balance. Not sell it, design it. Pick the materials, the colors, the story behind the shoe. Your name goes on the box. The run is 500 pairs. They sell out in 6 minutes. Your cut? $15 per pair. That's $7,500 for a creative project that took you 3 weeks. You realize something. The people making the most money in this industry aren't flipping shoes. They're telling stories about shoes. The curators, the guys who decide what's cool before everyone else agrees, they're the ones brands call when they want to reach a community that doesn't trust traditional advertising. By 27, you're consulting for 2 brands. You're getting paid $5,000 a month to tell a shoe company what colors will sell in 6 months. You're invited to factory visits in Vietnam and design reviews in Portland. You sit in rooms with people who've worked at Nike for 20 years, and they ask your opinion because you've spent 11 years understanding what actual sneakerheads want, not what marketing thinks they want. The money is better than reselling ever was. $120,000 a year with none of the 3 a.m. Discord alerts, none of the bot crashes, none of the inventory risk. But something's different. You haven't thought about a shoe in terms of, I want to wear that, in a long time. Everything is units and margins and projected sell-through rates. The kid who saved lunch money for breads? You can't find him anymore. Level 7, the whale. $400,000 in inventory. Dead stock. Climate-controlled storage unit in North Dallas. 1,400 pairs, organized by brand, by year, by estimated value. You have a spreadsheet that updates daily based on StockX's last sale data. You're 30 and you check it the way some people check the stock market. This is the year it goes wrong. In January 2026, the guy who ran Zade Kicks, the biggest sneaker pre-order operation in the country, gets sentenced to 70 months in federal prison, Wire fraud. He took $65 million in pre-orders and never delivered the shoes. $65 million. Gone. The news makes every sneaker forum, every Discord, every group chat. People you know lost money with Zadeh. Not $200. Thousands. The market is already cold. Nike flooded the Jordan brand with retros in 2024 and 2025. Pairs that used to be limited are now sitting on shelves at Foot Locker. The Air Jordan 6 Infrared, the same shoe you made your first $33 on 12 years ago, is on sale. Below retail. The scarcity that made this whole game work is gone, and Nike did it on purpose to kill the resale market that was making their customers hate them. Your spreadsheet used to say $400,000. Now it says $290,000. You lost $110,000 in value in 5 months without selling a single pair. They're all still in their boxes, still dead stock, still perfect, and worth 27% less than when you bought them. You try to liquidate. StockX fees are 9%. Shipping eats another 3 to 4%. You'd be selling at a loss on half your inventory just to free up capital. The storage unit costs $600 a month. You're hemorrhaging. Your wife, you got married at 28, asks you at dinner how the shoe thing is going. You say fine. You do not mention the spreadsheet. Level 8. The Collector. 31. Your storage unit is down to 200 pairs. You sold the rest, some at profit, many at loss, a few at devastating loss. The net math over your entire 15-year run? You made money. Probably, if you don't count the hours. The store closed at 29. Not because it was failing, because the margins got thin enough that running it felt like a job, and you didn't get into sneakers to have a job. You still consult for one brand. It pays well. It's easy. It's fine. What you have left? A collection. Not inventory, a collection. The difference is, you're never selling these. The Jordan 11 breads from when you were 16, the ones you actually wore, with the creases and the scuffed patent leather and the fraying lace tips. A pair of off-white Prestos you bought in 2018 and got Virgil Abloh to sign at a pop-up in 2021, 5 months before he died. A set of SB Dunks from 2006 that nobody cares about anymore except you, because you remember exactly where you were when you bought them. 200 pairs. You know people with 2,000, but yours are yours. Not because of what they're worth, but because of what you remember when you look at them. Your son is 4. He has tiny Air Force Ones, all white, already scuffed. You don't care. They look better that way. And somewhere right now, there's a 16-year-old kid standing outside a Foot Locker at 5 a.m. No, actually, he's on his phone, refreshing the sneakers app at 9:59, heart rate through the roof, trying to get his first pair of Jordans before the bots eat everything. He doesn't know what a cook group is. He doesn't know what a proxy is. He just wants the shoes. That's the best part.